Hello, everyone. Welcome to another conversation with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullahi. I'm just here. I've had a couple of people reach out to me to ask questions why the Ghana Football Association is proceeding to Tamale to organize its elections despite threats of application for injunction on the elections. So I'm just here to offer some clarity. But you've seen something separate, a separate background. The sports journalist with an electrical touch. So I have an electrical shop, um, Man's Electricals, where I sell everything electrical equipment, home appliances, and everything. So patronize me, make me your customer. My prices are very, very competitive. I am located near Joy FM, just directly opposite Joy FM. So my phone number, which is 054 9126 905, is the number that I use on my business. Wanting to become an entrepreneur, because it is important that you need to start something on your own. So this is my small baby. So when you hear me say the Nabila show is brought to you by Man's Electrical, you should understand. So the Man simply represents Muftau, the M is Muftau, the A is Abdullah, and the end is Nabila. So Man's Electrical. So that's the name for it. So this is proudly brought to you by Man's Electrical. I am currently seated inside here, and I'm going to give you raw and unedited version of why the Ghana Football Association is proceeding to Tamale to organize its elections despite threats of injunction. I'm aware of about 3 applications and notices for injunctions on the GFA elections. The one that was filed by Kim Faisal, which got the Ghana Football Association to put on hold its timetable. And as to what happened, quite unclear, but the GFA decided to proceed to organize the elections. I've had conversations with people close to the corridors of power, people close to the corridors of the legal department, and just to have an understanding why the GFA is still organizing the elections. And also, I can talk about the one that came from one Baba Yahya, who also filed a notice for injunction on the elections. And then the one that was filed by Mr. George Free, which was last week, Friday, ahead of the elections. He also filed an appeal at the Court of Arbitration for Sport. I wrote to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. They got back to me and told me on Monday that they had neither received nor registered an appeal filed by Mr. George Free. So I sought clarity from the camp of George Free on what happened, and what they told me was that the appeal was filed via courier, which is DHL. So they expect that the appeal was going to be received and registered by CAS Court by close of this week, which is going to be October 6th. So yeah, that is just a day after the Ghana Football Association holds its Executive Council elections. Members of the GFA are expected to assemble in Tamale for the elections. George Free is fighting for his human rights. He feels that his human rights have been violated by the elections and the appeals committee of the Ghana Football Association. There have been efforts to have him take the matter out of court, but that hasn't been able to materialize. So yeah, basically that is it. I think I can also talk about another thing. You might have read on the FA website that FIFA was sending a delegation to Ghana for the elections. One of the people that the GFA mentioned in their statement released on its website is Amaju Pinnick, a former president of the Nigerian Football Federation. I have spoken to Amaju Pinnick. I called him earlier. He was unable to answer the call. In fact, he declined the call, but later called back, and we had a conversation. I'm not sure I'll be willing to share everything that Amaju Pinnick told me on the phone call. It was very brief. It was a brief phone call, though the substance of what I wanted was communicated to me. So yeah, one of the things I can say for certainty is that Amaju Pinnick, per my understanding, did not come to Ghana on the ticket of FIFA. He did not come to Ghana on the ticket of CAF. Though Amaju Pinnick himself, let me make this clear, Amaju Pinnick himself did not tell me that he's not here on the ticket of Ghana, on the ticket of FIFA, of CAF, but people close to him and people um, have made me to understand that when he came to Ghana, a couple of things happened. So, in fact, I've also spoken to Georgia Friye because Amaju Pinnick addressed the media and said he had spoken to Georgia Friye. So it was important that I speak to Georgia Friye as well. So I spoke to George, I spoke to Amaju Pinnick, I spoke to two other people who were part of a meeting Amaju Pinnick had at his hotel when he arrived in Ghana, so that I could have a better understanding of what transpired. It was one of those meetings that Amaju Pinnick was asked whether he's here as a FIFA representative or CAF representative, where he stated categorically that he was in Ghana because as a FIFA Council member and a neighbor of Ghana, and as a friend of George Ofrie and Keto Kreku, being aware of the issues that are happening in Ghana football, he thought it wise that he could step in to try to resolve the impasse. But in the end, they were not able to resolve it. They were not able to resolve it. And in fact, the exact word that I can say that Amaju Pinnick personally told me was that there are issues on the ground. When he spoke to George Ofrie, he understands George Ofrie. And he feels that this is a matter that requires the legal people to attend to it. So he was not willing to go into details so much. And you also would have heard that media reports have suggested that he was in Ghana, he's gone back to Nigeria, and what, and he's not available for the elections. I asked Amaju Pinnick, are you in Ghana or you are back to Nigeria? Amaju Pinnick told me that there are issues. So his location is actually one thing that he doesn't want to put out there because he doesn't want people coming to him with documents of and that could put him into a trouble or another. So he's decided that he was never going to reveal exactly where he is, but he told me where he is right now. Um, um, is one thing that he doesn't want to put out there, but he's in an area that no one would be able to bring him a notice of application for injunction and all that. Yeah. So that is basically it. I was made to understand that there was a meeting involving George Ofrie, um, Michael Osekwe, the Chief of Staff of the Ghana Football Association, Amaju Pinnick, some members of the Parliamentary Select Committee on Sport. And one of the things they wanted to do was the fact that they wanted to take the matter out of court and resolve it out of court. But many people feel that George Ofrie has got a point. If he feels his human right has been violated, it is within his right to pursue it. So, yeah, so he's going ahead. So efforts to take it out of court hasn't materialized. There were also offers that were made to George Ofrie. One of them was the fact that they could get him opportunities at CAF and other levels of football, where George Ofrie made it clear that I'm not doing this because it's George Ofrie. I'm doing it because of football. Football is what I want to represent, not the interests of George Ofrie. So they were not able to convince George Ofrie to have the matter taken out of court. So yeah, that point is clear. Now, let me also move on and talk about other issues. So those are the facts I needed to lay on as a foundation. So basically, George Ofrie has turned down offers to take the matter out of court, and he explained that it's not about him, but it's about the betterment of Ghana football. Now, let me explain in this next video that the reasons why the GFA is proceeding to Tamale to organize the GFA elections. So go to the next video for that explainer.